Please place your hand on the Bible. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. My father was a wonderful man who waited on me hand and foot when I was a child. My mother used to jokingly call him the slave. When I grew up, I was certain I would find a man as loving and as selfless as my father. Instead, I found Frank. I used to give Frank these 30-minute back rubs, which he always asked for. He never gave me back rubs unless I begged for them, and even then they were 30 seconds. One day I broke both my arms and they had to be put in casts. Despite this, I continued giving Frank his back rubs. The doctor told me that if I kept stressing the muscles in my arms in this way, they would be permanently damaged and I would suffer from unbearable shooting pains for the rest of my life. I told Frank what the doctor said, and he told me I was exaggerating and that I was just lazy and didn't care about how his back felt. So I kept giving Frank his back rubs. A few days later, after a particularly long back rub, my own began to feel sore. So I said, "Your turn, and I want 30 minutes, because I always give you half an hour. What's fair is fair." And he said to me, "I thought you gave me back rubs because you loved me, not because you wanted something in return." So I explained to him, "I do love you, but I also want something because I give so much." And then he told me that I was just being selfish and I needed to learn how to be a truly selfless person. So I tried being selfless for a little while, but eventually the pain in my arms, which he also refused to massage, became so unbearable that I figured it would just be easier to kill Frank than to continue to be selfless. And I know, I probably should have just left him, but the apartment was so nice, and why should I be the one to have to leave it when I'm the one who found it in the first place? And even then, there was probably some other way to handle it, but I couldn't think of anything at the time. So killing him was the best thing I could come up with. I think the real problem with me and Frank was my inability to be assertive, to assert myself. If I had just asserted my right to back rubs and my arms, or if I had just asserted my right to the apartment, which I found, then maybe Frank would have respected my needs and I wouldn't have felt there was no other option but to kill him. I go back and forth between being too passive and too aggressive. When what I really need is to find